Hi there, it's your second favorite DP right here, okay? No, that's Deadpool, you silly little Hufflepuff. Anyways, I'm gonna need you to shut up that pretty little mouth of yours and pay attention because the show's about to start, alright? And, I don't know about you, but I know who's my vote for sexiest ex-soldier turned pop culture show host. Alright, enough foreplay, let's get on with the show.
In everybody! Today is February 10th, 2026, and this is episode 230 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the wild, weird, and wonderful things happening in pop culture so you don't have to. And tonight, oh boy, we've got a lineup that hits harder than a fourth quarter blitz. We're talking Liam Neeson versus a bioengineered nightmare. We've got sentient mannequins trying to kill people. A brand new Dracula reimagining that's dropping with Christopher Waltz chewing scenery like it owes him money. We've got a horror game adaptation, some X-Men 97 hype, and talk Wonder Man and VisionQuest and Doomsday and all that good stuff. It is an absolute full plate tonight. Horror, superheroes, sci-fi, and whatever the hell Mimics is supposed to be. I don't know. But of course, I can't do it alone, folks. Now, my usual partner in crime is out. So stepping in tonight is a man who knows intensity, strategy, and trash talking better than anyone on this network. He's the only man who can break down a movie trailer like it's fucking game film. He is the clipboard-wielding chaos engine from the sports bar. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to bring in our boy for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, his coach is in the building.
King, dude, is this Tuesday night or Wednesday night? Oh, it's Tuesday. Oh, you mean I'm on with CQ tonight? Oh shit, man. Well, yeah, he needs the views. Yeah. I got you, man. Don't worry about it. I'll rock it out tonight. All right, brother. All right, I'll see you tomorrow night. What do you hear? What do you say?
Welcome, everybody. The coach is in the building. How you doing, man?
You.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you very much for having an open casting call and letting me be your huckleberry for this evening.
Oh yeah, man. The couch casting thing? Like, it went really well, man. You were great on camera. The camera loved you, man.
It did, man. And the couch, I didn't stick to it. I thought it would be a little bit more sticky, but I was able to get off, and I didn't feel, I just needed a towel to wipe myself down, and I didn't even need a shower. You got a real professional setup over there, man.
We do what we do. Quick shout out to everybody already blowing up the chats, and Keith and Anubis, and is that King, the actual King Smith's watching? Shh, don't let him know you're cheating on him. Richard Bronco's out there, Captain Wayne, Heath, Tabity03, whatever your name is. God bless. And yes, take it all in. Take it all in. As Coach said, only CQ can be this swarmed by pussy and look this good. Let me tell you something. This was a nice little birthday gift. Some people had jokes. I said, you know what? You think it's funny? I'm going to rock this shit, and I look good in it. You know what I'm saying? So
man, you got so much pussy on your chest, you make Hugh Hefner freaking proud.
That's right. Let's go. Real quick before we dive into it, obviously, yes, birthday shirt, but I just had to share one of my favorite birthday treats. It's a little stupid, it's a little childish, but please indulge me for a moment.
Alrighty.
This is a Marvel Studios sign built in Legos, but it hides a secret. So I'm going to put it right close to the camera, and then just right here, as a little Iron Man just flies right out the top. Isn't that cool? Oh my God, it's so cool. But wait. There's more. If you push this secret, it's a very hidden secret button. Let's see if I can do this. That's right. Hulk and Thor pop out of this side. But there are more Avengers than that, aren't there? If you just... There you go. You got all of them. You got Cap. You got Black Widow, Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk. Come on. How cool is that?
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. I got a friend of mine who's into Legos, man. He would absolutely love that. Oh, wow.
This is for you, Lego. Officially approved by Pop Culture Warrior and WTF Nation Radio.
Come sponsor our videos. We'll take you perfectly. We will do as many as humanly possible.
Yeah. See if we can get these guys back in here now. Get in there. Oh, there's a block went inside. All right. Anyway,
you know, when you showed up that Marvel thing, I thought it was going to be like that guy Tony from LC Signs. I'm not sure if you've ever seen him on TikTok.
LC Signs. I don't think so. No.
Okay, no, I'll show that. It's a TikTok meme guy. This guy just he stitches himself into somebody else's video. Goes, yo, I'm Tony. How do you know when your LED sign is cheap? Yeah, and yeah, but it looks good, man.
If you can't say my name correctly, just call me Richard. You guys are funny. All right. Shout out to all of y'all and Scotty. I see you, bud. We're live on all the platforms. I can't mention any specifically because then the other ones will like fucking tamp us down, and it is what it is. But the red one and the black one and the yellow one and the white one and the blue one, all of them. Yay. Anyhow. There were so many things I wanted to talk about. And you ever had those moments where your mind just goes completely blank?
Yeah, I do that every 8 o'clock on Wednesday. Completely blank, man. I forget who my co-host is. I forget what I'm talking about. I get filled up with anger, and then somebody brings up the WNBA and the Jets, and then I remember why I'm angry.
Yes. Outstanding. Devin, I have a video of the barracks flooding at Sofield Barracks with 3 to a room. Hey man, send that into WTF Moments, U.S. Army WTF Moments. They're gonna love to play with that. But we're here to talk pop culture news. And yes, Scotty says, wow, no Hawkeye? Because he's not a real Avenger. He's just a dude with a bow and arrow. Come on, what kind of nonsense is that?
I mean, Black Widow, all she did was kick and shoot.
Hey, man, she's got the skills to pay the bills, and she look good in that leather. You know what I'm saying? That, she looks good. Anyway.
Sorry, I like her sister a little bit more.
I know Florence Pugh, though. Oh, Florence Pugh.
Woo,
something about it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And the way she does, like, the Eastern European accent, too. Oh,
yeah. Florence Pugh, I mean, and I know we're getting a little off topic, but actually the first video, the first movie I saw Florence Pugh in was Fighting with My Family, where she played Paige, the WWE wrestler, or now Saraya Knight over in AEW. But man, she did a phenomenal job in that.
She really did. She really did.
Yeah, that was a great movie too, as well. And
what was it called? Growing Up Wrestling or something like that, or
Fighting with My Family.
Fighting with My Family. That's it. Yeah. And The Rock was in it and all that. Yeah.
Yep.
The Rock played his most convincing character yet. The Rock himself. Biggest stretch for him. We got a question from Anubis. Says, forgive me, I don't end up watching the sports bar. Is that Coach's thing with the setup? Yes. The Coach's identity to this day remains a well-guarded secret. Rumor has it, he might be on the run, or he might be a prolific a coach in real life and can't be associated with these activities, giving us insight into the real behind the scenes stuff. So, who's to say, really? I mean, he could just be some bald, fat white guy. I mean, who's to say? Who's to say?
Be an ugly fuck. And look, I might be doing everybody a favor by being behind my fence.
He's doing you a solid. God bless. All right. Lots to cover.
This is my best way to. This is my best way to ensure that I have absolutely zero. That we have zero AI help whatsoever on WTF Nation Radio. Outside of our theme songs.
That's true. Yeah. Well, he does have a white beard. I mean, you never know. First and foremost, all right. So I was scouring the internet. So I said, we always do a lot of Marvel stuff. We do a lot of DC stuff. I was like, you know what? Let me stretch the limbs a little bit. Let's, I gotta pull in the camera a bit. There we go. Hey, there we go. Let's look at what else is happening around there. So I was just, doing my research and things, and I saw there's Cold Storage is a high intensity sci-fi thriller. It's releasing February 13th. It's starring Liam Neeson, Joe Keery, and Georgiana Campbell. The story centers on a deadly, rapidly evolving bioorganism that escapes containment and threatens global catastrophe. Neeson is playing a retired government operative because what else does he play? Who's brought back in to help stop the outbreak, while Keery and Campbell portray scientists racing against time to understand the organism's behavior. The film blends tactical action, biohazard suspense, and a grounded procedural approach to crisis response. Early buzz is highlighting that the creature design, the escalating tension, and Neeson returning to a more serious, dramatic role rather than his usual action revenge archetype is looking good. There's a trailer.
Did my buzzer for my laundry really just coming right at the perfect time?
That was awesome. It's like, nope, we don't think so.
Wow, that was completely unintentional. That was the buzzer for my laundry, y'all.
That cracked me up. I think your laundry has something to say about this movie.
Who needs a stream deck when you got a washing machine?
I tell you, the soundboard of that washing machine is phenomenal. Yes, it sounds like the truth behind COVID-19. Yeah, yes. So it's 12 monkeys without the monkeys. Yes, that is correct. Yes, exactly. I don't know. Is it me? Because it could be. Is it me, or are we living in a day and age where like these big stars will like do the big thing and then do a bunch of shitty things? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of big names that are doing movies where you're like, this was the best thing that came across your desk. Like, this was the thing.
I think a lot of that also comes around with these kind of studio picture deals would be the best way to kind of call it. And you sign for a 3-picture deal, you get them involved into one massive project, but you still have them on the hook for like another 2. Like it'll cost you $60 million for Tom Hanks. Or I'm not going to say. Well, let's give Tom Cruise one. It'll cost you $60 million for Mission Impossible 29, but then you have to, it'll cost him that. But as part of that deal, he has to appear in 2 other Paramount movies that are coming out. Obviously, he would end up having his top billing because he's Tom Cruise. But with the way Liam Neeson is and kind of how often he's been working, he's taken that as like. Just kind of giving it an equivalent, he's kind of turned into, well, the 2020s version of the 2000 Samuel L. Jackson, where you're seeing him in a wide range of movies, and he's really dedicated to acting in as many movies as humanly possible. I mean, it's almost every other month I am seeing a new movie of Liam Neeson out there. It was just 3 months ago that he came out with the Police Squad. And then he was in another movie, I know he had a bit part in a movie that came out between November and now, but now with this movie coming out, it's part of that. It could be the studio picture deal, but I also think Liam Neeson is that kind of guy that just wants to, work. I mean, up until recently, he was single, and now he's married a withered old Pamela Anderson, but, it's still Pamela Anderson. So maybe he'll take a little bit of a break, and be around Pamela for a little while, or maybe he'll come back out. But Liam Neeson's been in a ton of movies and he's liking working, so I give that to him, as part as that's being Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
But I'm actually really excited to see Joe Keery in that movie because of now I don't. All right. Excuse me, because I know everything has always been about DC and Marvel.
Go for it.
Blah, blah, blah. But did you watch Stranger Things?
I mean, I've talked about this before, but I'll tell you is that I saw the first season, I liked it, got into the second season and it lost me, and I wasn't into it. And now people tell me it gets better, but like I hate having to slog through something to get to the better part. Like,
I
just
kind
be
of
better.
I agree with you about that. I would say about the end of season 3 was when I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. But then I saw the finale of it on New Year's Eve out in the theaters.
Mm.
And it kind of got me reinterested. So I went back and watched season 4 and season 5 and the 29 different parts. My son watched the whole thing as it was coming out, so he enjoyed it. But Joe Keery was always one of the ones that I kind of liked in that. The kids, going all the way from Millie Bobby Brown to oh God, the one who's going to end up being in Spider-Man No Way Home. What's that woman? What's that girl's name? Sadie Sink.
Sadie
Sadie
Sink.
Sink.
Yeah.
So all of them, seeing them coming from little kids to grown-ups, I was kind of off to that Dustin kid, he was chubby and fat. Now he's chubby and 22 and lives at home. But Joe Keery was always one of the ones that I looked at. I was like, this guy could, dang on, really. Stop with the timer, all right?
It's got opinions tonight. You're wrong.
Hey, shut up. All right, fine. But I thought that he was going to be one of the ones that was going to break out from it and not be saddled with like that child thing. So to see him in a movie out, from that, I'm kind of happy to see him, in a different movie it's going to be a similar drama because for crying out loud, it's a suspenseful horror film.
Yeah,
But
basically.
hopefully he doesn't get typecasted in that one. But I like to see what his future is going to be within, the entertainment with the movies and the TV and all that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And talking about Liam Neeson, like to give an idea of this guy, I just did a quick scan of his IMDb page, and let's go back. I don't know. Let's go back to 2020. Since 2020, because that's only about 6 years, right? So you could be in what 5-6 things in 6 years, right? His appearances since 2020, made in Italy. Yeah, I can talk. Made in Italy, Honest Thief, The Hunger, The Marksman, The Ice Road, Blacklight, Ireland, Benjamin Franklin. I guess he was one of the voices in that. Memory, Atlanta, Dairy Girls. He brought back Obi-Wan Kenobi for that little mini series. The U.S. and the Holocaust, where he does another voice. Marlowe, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, Actors and Athletes Against Gang Violence, which was a music video, surprisingly. Retribution, Wildcat, In the Land of Saints and Sinners, Absolution, Our Blue World, A Water Odyssey, where he was the narrator, Ice Road Vengeance, The Naked Gun, The Search for the Silver Lining, and now Cold Storage. That is all in a not even a full 5-ish year fucking stretch. This guy is like, is he just bored? Does he not have enough money? Is his cocaine habit that bad? These are the questions we need answers.
If I may, I would mention something about this because he did have tragedy very early, earlier this millennium. Because remember, he was married to Natasha Richardson, and then Natasha, tragically passed in like 2009 from a traumatic brain injury while skiing. So, I mean, kind of throwing himself into his craft for how much he's been working, I mean, look, we're military guys. You know how we deal with all of our stuff. We throw ourselves into whatever craft we have to help us go out. Maybe this is therapeutic for Liam Neeson to be doing all of these things.
That's a fair point.
Just in a way, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt over the fact that he likes money and he has, a cocaine habit.
Damn hookers and blow, man. It's expensive. This shit, inflation and tariffs. I mean, it's expensive out there nowadays. Shout out to Scotty. He says, and just like that, add Liam and Pamela to the list of people who ain't coming on the show. Yes. Yeah.
I don't think we'd ever get Pamela Anderson. Liam Neeson, I don't know, man. We can get Liam maybe on maybe we can get him on a Monday edition. I don't know.
I'm wounded, sir. You wound me, sir. I think I could get Pamela Anderson if I really wanted to try. I think I get. Oh, for the show. Oh, yeah, for the show. For the show.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
show, for the show, yeah.
yeah.
That other kind, you must be, you must have a third leg in order to get Pamela.
Hey, yeah.
I mean,
Not touching that one. Another one I wanted to switching topics. Smooth transition. Mimics. Mimics is this bizarre horror comedy that's releasing February 13th. It centers around a sentient mannequin that comes to life and terrorizes a small town. I guess like a la Chucky kind of thing. The film leans heavily into practical effects, surreal visuals, and a tone that swings between absurd humor and genuine creepiness. The story follows a group of everyday people, retail workers, a security guard, a local handyman, who band together to fight off the mannequin uprising. Early reactions describe it as Gremlins meets Attack the Block, which was one of my favorite. I really love that movie. With a chaotic energy and a self-aware sense of humor, it's one of those movies that could possibly become a cult classic purely because of how strange and meme-worthy it is. I bring it up because we were fortunate enough to get an early screener of the movie, and our good friend Nemo, who's our kind of movie aficionado, our movie buff, more than me even, got to sit down and watch it and then interview some of the cast and creatives behind the movie. That interview is being edited as we speak and will be up shortly. So, we will be putting that up soon. So very excited, but, thoughts on mannequin horror movies. What do you got, Coach?
I'm a little upset. I mean, the reason why I say that about a mannequin horror movie is the fact that Jose Jalapeno on a stick won't be in it. Walter won't be in it. Peanut won't be in it. And for crying out loud, Ahmed the Dead Terrorist would have been a perfect casting for it. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not there. Child's Play had a pretty good run as a show on Peacock. Every several years, the horror gimmick comes back out of what has been done before. Let's try it in a new test. And we've always had killer dolls. Now, a killer mannequin, that's an involvement of a killer doll. I'll accept it. It's one of those horror films that has the potential of just being one of those 99-cent DVD bin ones, or it could just be a next what's that one with Art the Clown, Terrifier? It could
Terrifier,
be.
Yeah.
Let's see how much gore, let's see how much suspense is it, and if it's done good or if it's done in the usual Hollywood method. We need to find the great part about all of the horror movies, especially the genre, was that even though it became repetitive, each one of them had something different. Freddy was killing you in your sleep. Jason was killing you if you were fornicating at a camp. Pinhead was killing you in over other dimensions, and there was different ways of everybody was getting murdered and things like that. And Mike Myers, at least he only did that to one town. He didn't go all the way
one
around
family specifically too. He was terrorizing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and over the time with the Saws and with the Terrifiers and with Screams, and then, by the way, I can't believe they're making another Scream.
Scream 7.
We don't have to get it. But with all of them, there was different ways of how all of these happened. So if they're not copying something that has already been done before, which unfortunately it's a doll movie being killed, and they come up with a new way of doing it, it'll be successful. But if not, hey, it's a good horror movie, cheap scares and things like that. And February's are, I've noticed February's have been a very good horror movie month instead of October.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? You would think like, okay, let's time our stuff out towards more Halloween or, that type of but no, it's usually like February, or I'm thinking like, what's the other one that's like, January's kind of a dumping ground for a lot of movies, but yeah, It's a weird
Can I
time.
put a hypothesis onto that?
Please.
Okay. The reason why I say hypothesis about that is because Oscars time has already been set out. All of the Oscar movies are doing their runs or they're doing their theater releases right before, all the award shows are coming. In December, you have your blockbusters coming out, mainly because the kids are out of school. It's holiday time and people have that. Come February and March, you're inside most of the time. And
Mhm.
people, in February and March, you also notice that the TV ratings go up a little bit more because people don't want to do stuff outside of their home in February or during the colder months. So horror movies historically have not been the big money makers. So to put those movies out that they have produced during this time kind of feeds into that part of, well, we're going to see diminished returns, and those that want to see it will see it. But we'll cast a wider net with the non-horror stories during times that schools are out, weather is warmer, people don't want to be out of the house, people want to be outside. And that's kind of historically how things have, somewhat been for the movie industry. You notice that, like, after the first week of August, when I guess the year-round schools start going back, that's when movies start pulling back their release dates and start getting more to the theme ones and get ready for the October, maybe late November and December releases that will be, like the holiday releases.
Hmm.
That's just my theory, though.
No, I mean, it's a fair assumption because you figure, summers are your tentpole, big blockbuster films. But there's also like like you said, like Christmassy time where they try to squeeze in a couple in there. Like we'll see Doomsday in the late December
Mhm.
time frame. So
Avatar for each ones that they've come
Avatar,
out of.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it makes sense that you got to think of like what's the opposite of that, right? Like what's if those are the busy times where there's more people out and kids are out of school and all that, then when do you squeeze it in? And yeah, I mean it makes sense. It's very plausible. I wonder. I'm sure somewhere if you really looked at like the analytics of it, it's just they perform better at those times, or
Mhm.
it's cheaper for like the studios to buy advertising for them at that time or something. I'm sure it always boils down to dollars and cents, right? So
Yeah.
uh, I definitely think that's you're right. Wayne says, I know Netflix is going into Trashville. Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting
Does
take.
that
What?
have anything to do with the Time Warner merger?
Maybe, or is
Yeah.
it Warner Brothers? I thought Warner Brothers. That's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
acquiring.
Well, Time
Yeah,
Warner, Warner Brothers, HBO. I think
Warner
aren't they
something.
like all the same thing? They were the same thing or
I don't
whatever,
know. At some point,
whatever their
everyone's
names
been
are
inside of everyone else. It's Hollywood. At some point, everyone's been in everyone else. You know what I mean?
now. Yeah,
Uh, everyone's been
it-
inside of everyone else.
it's true. It's true.
It's true. That's what I've heard anyway. Allegedly. There's some other ones coming out. So like I just saw, and by all means, please tell me in the chat if you even heard of any of these properties, because like I went digging and I pulled them because I was like, I've never heard of that. Like it, it interested me, and these are like things with notable people or people you've heard of. So it's not like some weird indie thing that no one's ever heard of. Like these are legit directors, writers, actors doing stuff that I'm like, what's their like marketing budget? A Twinkie wrapper? Like, because there's uh, Dracula. Dracula released on February 6th. Has anybody heard of it? It stars Caleb Landry Jones as the titular vampire and Christopher Waltz, which I love Christopher Waltz. Fucking amazing actor. He plays the mysterious antagonist of the film. This version takes a darker, more psychological approach, focusing on Dracula as a tragic, tormented figure rather than a traditional monster. The film explores themes of immortality, addiction, isolation, with a gothic atmosphere and a slow burn kind of tension. Waltz reportedly is delivering a chilling performance as this rival immortal with his own agenda. The movie emphasizes character drama over jump scares, offering a more mature, prestige horror take on the classic story. All that sounds amazing. Has anybody heard anything about this film? Because I know I didn't until I researched it. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind because he's not the sparkly kind. It's like, is he the sparkly kind? No, he's not. But no, it blows my mind because I was just sitting here thinking to myself that there's not enough original ideas and there's not enough. It's the same crap that gets recycled over and over. And I think Dracula's a bad example of that because bad point to bring up because it's Dracula who's been around since like the fucking 1400s. But, like with the other stories we were talking about, these are original things. These aren't sequels or big tentpole blockbuster AAA, but we're not hearing about it. And it made me stop and think. Mm-hmm. Are we getting to a point where there's so much noise, whether it's the news, whether it's sports, whether it's social media, whether it's the 30-second or less, quick shorts and reels and things and TikToks that are keeping our attention span short, that we're losing out on, in commercials, right? Outside of watching the Super Bowl, was the last time you watched a commercial? You know what I mean? Like, how are they supposed to market this stuff to us? Like, are they going to have to get Christopher Waltz to do like a TikTok dance to let us know that there's a new movie out? I mean, what chance do we have, Coach? Tell me, what chance do we have to learn about the stuff that's not Disney or Marvel or DC or, ESPN or whatever, right? Like, how are we supposed to learn this stuff?
5-second ads. 5-second ads. That is how we are supposed to learn about these. And I say 5 seconds because 5 seconds is the minimum time period that most of the video hosting sites that we try to go on, whether it be YouTube or any other type, 5 seconds is the minimum time we have before we press skip. So, in my view, with the way that advertising's going, you can't, and here I go with Mr. Commercial Star over here, but the television commercials and the radio commercials right now are being drowned out because we are trying to skip them. We are opting to go to different places, and we're getting a little upset on our streaming services that we have to have some type of mandatory ads that are coming in. Our 5-second ads that we see before we watch a YouTube video or all these other ones, we have that 5 seconds right before we hit skip. And a lot of us will hit skip automatically. We will not sit through an entire Wegovy commercial just so that I can watch, something on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip right through that. So if you have a 5-second commercial of saying Christopher Waltz in Dracula, starting, February 6th or something like that. 5 seconds, boom, get the attention, give somebody a hook to essentially either Google the information or press pause on that video. Hopefully you have a hyperlink on it, and then, they can check those things out through word of mouth. But there is very few ways for us to be able to do that. I would say that the only real times that I have sat down and watched commercials and not have gone to a second screen, like my phone when commercials are playing, are when it's only one commercial at the beginning of a show. Like, what's the I can't remember the name of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the new Dragons and Wieners show on HBO. You can watch that commercial free by watching a 30-second or a 1-minute commercial right at the beginning and enjoy everything else ad free.
Mm.
Those are the commercials that I will remember. Those are the commercials that I might actually take a look at. And those are the prime commercials that are necessary. And I think the way that the media should go, those will be the best ones to do to get your information out and to get it to those consumers, because you have a captive audience and they're not going to be ticked off because they're not going to be seeing that same ad another 15 or 20 minutes later.
Mm.
So we're going to bring those ads. You make like either a 5-second ad to get their attention right before they hit skip, or you make that ad and you place it right there on the unavoidable skip to show something completely commercial free. That's the way we are consuming most of our commercials right now, at least the ones that I would say that I purchase. I don't know about you with how you've been purchasing anything or what has influenced your purchase, but for me, those are the commercials that speak to me.
Ah.
The ones that I skip over, I don't care about your product whatsoever. You know,
Well, some people watch commercials. Some people are commercials. I'm just saying, there's two kinds of people
okay.
in this world.
And let me say this on air, ladies and gentlemen. Technically, CQ was in a Super Bowl commercial, and I heard it, and I laughed I'm not gonna say laughed my ass off, but I literally messaged everybody on the radio chat, and I said, "Hey, CQ has been in a Super Bowl commercial."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was nice to hear. It was nice to hear. Yeah, okay, I take that back. Not just CQ, but CQ and King were in a Super Bowl commercial. Yes, it was on Westwood One Radio, and I'm probably the only person that heard it because everybody else was watching it. But those of you that were listening on to the radio in the first half heard that same commercial I did. So congratulations on being in a Super Bowl commercial to you, CQ, and I'll tell King that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. Which goes great with the comment we just recently had, which was even the Super Bowl commercials sucked this year. So yeah, I was one of them.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Agreed.
Yours
No,
might have been the most enjoyable I saw. It was definitely better than the Mandalorian and Grogu commercial.
I
Dear
mean,
God.
it really. Look, I said I wasn't going to talk about the Super Bowl because I'm sick of hearing about it. I enjoyed the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I like football, but I'm just sick of the conversation, both sides of it. I'm just tired of it. But I will say, the commercials I felt they were a little lacking this year. There was a couple.
Yeah.
There were a couple bright spots. Probably my favorite was the Chris Hemsworth fucking Alexa one.
Yeah.
And not because he's Thor, but like I just thought it was a funny premise.
He picked up that fucking snake and just threw it.
Yeah,
That part was pretty funny.
I just love the idea of the Alexa device, like finding new ways to kill him in all the different scenes, like drown him, blow him up, and decapitate him like he's in Scream. I like, to me that was fun and creative and silly. Everything else kind of
Yeah.
like even the Dunkin' commercial was kind of cool, like seeing all these like 90s icons, come together for a Dunkin' commercial, but like even that felt a little stiff, a little.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think what other ones were
I will tell you the ones that caught my attention were a lot of them were the movie trailers.
Mhm.
By the way, did you scan that QR code and get that bag of Lay's potato chips?
No, I
right.
refuse to scan unsolicited codes. I will not be the one that's like, bloop, there goes your life savings.
Good.
Mm.
All right. But it outside of the movie ones were the ones that I was looking for. I was looking most to,
Yeah.
and obviously, I mentioned Mandalorian and Grogu. I felt like that felt like a used car commercial,
Yeah.
and oh God, here we go. We're going back to DC and MCU and all that, but there was no MCU ones, which was kind of cool, and the DC one actually paid during the Puppy Bowl. But the new Supergirl one, it was just like, okay, now I got a little bit more of a story about the dog. I still, need to see a little bit more about, Jason Momoa being Lobo,
Huh?
and and all right, and I know that a lot of people probably don't know about like the 2021 version of the comic book version that they're basing this movie off of,
Yes.
but it's a little bit more of a backstory would have been necessary, just for me. But for me, as that being a second trailer, it's okay. I will say that blonde girl, my God, the one playing the one playing Supergirl.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Millie Alcock, I think is it.
Millie Alcock.
Yeah.
Whew.
I mean,
Even when she was in the Dragons and Wieners show, she was great looking, and she is great looking as
oh
Supergirl.
God, great title. They got to call it Dragons and Wieners. That's just a great title for the show. The Here's the thing, and believe it or not, I am now more hyped for Supergirl because of the reserved approach. Something, and maybe it's just me. When these trailers come out and they try really hard to overhype, right? Like, oh my God, look at this explosion. And it's like, more often than not, you end up going to see that thing. You're like, that was the majority, like that was the best parts of the movie. Like, which again, trailers, that's what it's trying to bring you into it. But good movies that turn out to be much better, I've noticed, tend to downplay it a little bit. They tend to go like, it's a story about this, and it's a story about this. And yeah, here's a cool shot, and here's a cool shot. But it's really kind of downplay it.
May I use your own words to support you?
Please.
Because I actually heard you say this once or twice during your shows, is that the more you see on the trailer, the less the studios believe that movie is going to, be a draw, and they're trying to get more people out for it. I believe you said something like that.
Yeah.
So you're right. It is a little bit more reserved, and we only just saw, just everything with the dog. That was the only thing that really came about. And you're right. It didn't show a lot more about the backstory. It didn't show you Lobo. And by the way, if you don't know who Lobo is, Jason Momoa is gonna fucking
shame.
Nice.
The first trailer had like one shot of him, which just to give us like, hey, he looks good. You know what I mean? But we don't got nothing else, but he looks good. It looks like Lobo.
And it's going to be like, you're going to be looking at it like, oh, holy shit, yeah, this would be awesome. So that's where you're kind of going from. But I think Supergirl is going to have a real nice, it's going to be a draw. It'll be interesting. And I know that you and MadMike might debate this over the summer, but do you think that Supergirl is going to gross more than Superman did?
That is an interesting point. I would think best guess is that initial numbers might be less than Superman, but I think, and this is just wild speculation on my part, long term, I think the numbers will be higher for Supergirl. I think it'll build. I think James Gunn has a really good way of doing, like, taking characters that are either lesser known or lesser loved, and making them interesting and fun and unique. He's really good at like space adventures, which this is very much going to be a space adventure compared to like what Superman was, which was very grounded story on the planet. And I also think that he has a way of writing like really powerful, cool, interesting women characters. You look at Gamora, you look at a lot of those characters that he wrote are they're not your typical like, oh, damsel in distress but like they're actually fun to watch, and they can be just as fun as the guys, and interesting and cool and kick ass. And so I don't know. I think long run, I think it's going to do better than Superman, But I do think there's some prejudice from some groups that are like, oh, it's just gender swap Superman. And like those people that are going to be like, they don't really get, its history and depth of it. Yeah.
And to also bring up a point on that too, Superman had a lot of secondary characters that were introduced during the movie. I mean, you had the whole Justice, or not the Justice Gang. Thank you. I wanted to call them the Justice League, but that's not happening yet. That'll be another 5 years from now. But when the Justice Gang shows up, and then you have everybody from the Daily Planet, and then you have everybody from LexCorp, and the families and all that, and as well as Superman's parents, you have a lot of characters that were introduced at that point.
Yeah.
In
Supergirl, and don't forget, you had Bradley Cooper in there telling him to bang all the women on Earth. So
exactly, exactly. And his mother played as robotic as she was when she was in Westworld. There's a throw.
There you throwback
to an old she was in. Yeah, but as far as as Supergirl, really, you're only going to have like 3 or 4 main characters. You're going to have this girl that she's protecting, the main antagonist who, looks like he's got like fucking piercings all over his face, Supergirl, and, the big secret of Lobo, and then you're going to have everybody who's kind of third-rate people or something like that is the best way I can kind of say that. But you don't have many other caricatures that are going to be playing an essential role to the role of the movie. So there's going to be a lot more of a highlight on Millie Alcock and Supergirl than there was going to be with Superman in this movie. So I agree. I think that James Gunn, with an ensemble cast, does great, but I think James Gunn highlighting Supergirl by itself might really have. Yeah, I agree with you that staying power out for that. I think it might, it might have a better second week than Superman did, because Superman fell off pretty bad after the second week.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think word of mouth will be good. And I think it will have a little bit of, because you also got to look at other movies that are coming around that time. And there's a lot that goes into it. But I think it's going to have some legs. I think it's going to stick around for a little bit and might be, like somebody wrote Captain Marvel versus Supergirl. Like the idea of like, these women-led superhero movies traditionally don't do well. Outside of maybe like the first Wonder Woman movie, they don't traditionally do well. But I think this one has a real shot. And I will say this:
if it was Sydney Sweeney, it wouldn't be a problem, because then the right wouldn't be saying anything. Sorry, I just brought politics into it. I have so apologize, man. I should not have done that.
First of all, even Sydney Sweeney can't save a shitty. She was in Madam Web. Let's just remember that. So even Sydney Sweeney can't save a turd burger, in a dress. And she was in skin tight spider outfit. I mean, god damn, like what else can you do? Anyway, credit to James Gunn. Something he said that I really liked when he took over the DC universe was, we're not just setting up stories and releasing. He's like, we're not putting stuff out unless it is good, unless it is right. And it's an easy thing to say, but I'm starting to see the action, right? Superman, whether you loved it or hated it, was a well put together movie. It was well done, well acted, great visuals and everything. We've got Supergirl coming out. There was the Clayface movie that they're working on, which is, and again, another thing that I like that he said is that even though this is all going to be in and of the same universe, doesn't mean like, and he's taking a jab at Marvel, they don't have to stylistically all be the same, right?
Yeah.
So Clayface is meant to be a horror movie set in the DC universe, right? That's the idea. It's like a body horror. It's a guy who literally fucking changes his look, and it's all like body horror and whatever. It was just announced that they delayed that film, that it's being pushed back like 6 or 8 months, and which tells me, we're not just going to put stuff out just because, hey, we announced it, we got to put it out. It's like, no, if it's not ready, it's being pushed back. Lanterns was pushed back, which tells me the CGI was probably not where it needed to be. So yeah, it's
Oh,
just it's
better than the other Lantern.
God. Oof, God bless him, man. Even Ryan Reynolds couldn't save that thing.
14 years later, and that joke is still resonating.
Oh man, that thing. Whew. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sorry, looking at the chats. Those dog farts are nuclear powered. That's funny. Yes, Love Me Weasel and Polka Dot Man. Yes. Imagine if Aubrey Plaza played Supergirl. Look, I'm a huge Aubrey Plaza fan. One of my favorites. She's not right for Supergirl. That's just she's the antithesis of Supergirl. If she was gonna be, which she is in the Marvel universe, she plays Death, believe it or not, in the Marvel universe, which is awesome. Because how cool is it to play Death, smoking hot Death? But if she were to play a superhero,
all right, hold on, because I'm gonna say this might be okay. Catwoman is always, could very possibly. I don't know.
It's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, but of course we can also put almost every,
every hottie,
every 7, every 8 out of 10 in Hollywood, and
every hottie with a body.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm trying to think really realistically if she were gonna play a superhero, because there's just certain people that would be perfect. Like for instance, I saw somebody did like a what's her name? Amy Adams as like Squirrel Girl. I thought, oh man, like 10 years ago, oh man, that would have been perfect casting. But
I still think the AT&T girl being
that was
Girl,
that almost happened.
That. Yeah,
that almost happened. She maybe Domino. Ooh, that's an interesting one. I could see Domino. I'm trying to think, dude. Oh man, if she wasn't like supposed to be Asian, I would say Lady Deathstrike, the one with the fucking long finger claw things. Wolverine.
Okay, yeah.
But I think she's meant to be like Asian. I wouldn't want to get her in trouble for like, oh, look at them whitewashing another Asian character. But yeah,
is Aubrey Plaza white?
I mean that's a great point. She's actually Hispanic. She's Hispanic. Yeah. She's like me, very pale skin Hispanic. The and also Lady Deathstrike was a villain though. That's the other thing. I could see a younger Aubrey Plaza, like back Parks and Rec. I could have seen as like a very angsty Jubilee, right? Like, I could have seen like a, she's kind of like a gothy Jubilee. She shoots black fireworks.
I'm trying to think of her as one of the X-Men, and yeah, I'm not seeing her as any of the villains or any of the couldn't think of her as any of the X-Men. I mean, she wouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe a little bit older as Jean Grey. I mean, she maybe I don't know. Maybe Aubrey Plaza transforms herself into the Dark Phoenix. I don't know.
This is actually, you know what? This might be it for me. Scotty says, what if she was like the Bizarro equivalent for Supergirl? Right? If we know, Bizarro is that mirror, dark version of Superman, she could be like the Bizarro Supergirl. I could see that. I could see that, a raven-haired, because it's the opposite of a blonde girl, but like a raven-haired, super emo gothy, version. Yeah, I could go with that. I could dig that. There you go, James Gunn. That's one for us. You got it. You take that. That's yours. The sequel where she fights Bizarro Supergirl, starring Aubrey Plaza. There you go.
Now, wasn't there rumors that James Gunn was going to do some type of Bizarro Superman or something within that dimension, and the kind of like the Superman that we saw as the villain who in the movie, like it was going to be the origin story of Bizarro Superman, a Bizarro world or something like that. I mean, it could very possibly be that, but I know that this is expanding DC, to outside the slate of the movies that they already have, and last time they did that, it didn't work out that well for them.
Yeah, they do have some things lined up, but no, I think this. So in the Superman movie, there was Ultraman who turned out to be a clone of Superman. I think that would be such a really fun because he was a clone. He looked just like Superman, but because he gets sent into that black hole bullshit, like maybe because of that, he gets all fucking morphed and fucking, deformed and whatever, and comes out as Bizarro. And then, almost like Frankenstein's monster, where, Bizarro wants to find his true love, his, version of Lois Lane, but instead he makes like a Supergirl Bizarro, played by Aubrey Plaza. You're welcome.
We're fantasy booking this shit.
Man, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'm right on it.
Who needs a creative room? We got this taken care of.
They got this. MadMike always says, like, you guys could save hundreds of millions on writers and storyboarders. Just come to us. We'll give you the ideas. Give us a tenth of that. Give me $100,000. I will single-handedly put your studio on the map. A live action Buttercup from the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, which that's a whole separate thing, but that almost happened, the live action Powerpuff Girls. Like, they shot it and everything, and then they realized, wow, this was a terrible idea, and they fucking shelved it. Yeah, Chloe Bennett was going to be in that. Yeah, but I could see it. I could see Aubrey Plaza as a Powerpuff Girl. God, they have to have her on SNL, and she plays live action Buttercup. That would be awesome. See her in like the fucking, what was it? The green? Was it? Yeah, Bubbles was blue. The other one was red. Yeah. Anyway.
You got me on that one, man. I really do. I do not know, unfortunately.
Ooh, Zatanna. Well, okay, remember, we're talking Marvel. Zatanna was DC, but I could definitely see Aubrey Plaza as magic-wielding Zatanna from the DC universe. I could totally see that. Yes. Interesting. Well, I guess we didn't specify Marvel. And she's already in Marvel. God, I keep forgetting. She's already in Marvel. She's in WandaVision. But anyway, moving on. Totally got sidetracked by that awesome fan casting side conversation. I love it.
All good.
No, this is the best. I love it. Do we need to take a short break? I mean, it's the top of the hour. How do you guys do things in sports bar? Do you just go?
We push through, but I will say that a needed break would be okay for right now. We can come back, in about another couple of minutes and finish up the rest of the topics and wrap up. I wouldn't be surprised with that one. That way I can stop this damn laundry from buzzing.
Wrong. You can go slap it around. How dare you buzz at me? All right. We got a couple more stories for you guys. Stick around. I want to talk about a couple of Marvel products that are coming out. There's some stuff in streaming that's hitting. We're going to talk about, and a couple other housekeeping items to look forward to moving forward. But yes, more show right after this break. See you on the other side.
Hey, you there? Yeah, it is right, you. Let me ask you something, right? Where the hell do you think that you're going? Oh, would you think because the show's going to commercial that means you get to just walk away? Well, CQ asked me to pass on the little message, alright? And it says, I'll be back.
There's a voice that breaks the night. It's CQ at the insight. From the comics to the silver screens, talking legends in those crazy scenes. Pop culture trends and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. silver screens, talking legends and those crazy scenes, pop culture dreams and hidden themes. CQ reveals what it all means. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Marvel at the twists and turns, villains playing heroes learn. Every episode we'll discern lessons from the past to learn. Games we play and books we read, CQ's wisdom's what we need. Memories that make us bleed, together we will take the lead. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another fight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight. Pop culture warrior here to ignite, guiding through the tales of light. With CQ leading the charge so bright, we're ready for another flight.
Hi there. You're watching Pop Culture Warrior. This is the way.
we back, we back, we back. Me and the actual coach is here to entertain and delight and give you guys our pop culture nerd. We were just chatting about how like good coach. I'm surprised. I've always known you as a sports guy. I've always known you as a wrestling guy, as a peer and a leader in your community. Didn't know you were kind of a nerd. You were a closeted nerd, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I have been watching a lot about the MCU. And I've been doing a lot of research as far as the upcoming, movies. Like I said, earlier about Doomsday and all that. I think actually no, I told you off air on Doomsday. Like I heard about the 1984 Doomsday and the 2015 version of it.
Yeah.
So I went back and I watched some videos around it, so I can kind of understand about what's going to be happening when Doomsday and Secret Wars kind of come out. Shoot, my fandom kind of nerddom goes back for a while. My original fandom and kind of nerddom goes back to Doctor Who. Okay, it really does.
Oh shit!
I know,
Doctor
old
Who.
school, old school, and let me tell you why. Like my father was Scottish, and my grandfather Scottish, and the BBC, certain shows would come on, and Doctor Who was one of them. And I remember watching the Doctor Who from Tom Baker, going all the way up until the rebirth, and then when it came back, my son got into it. And then once he got into it, I started getting back into it again. And then right at that time, as my son was getting into a couple more things, my youngest son I'm talking about, the MCU started coming out. So me, my oldest son, my youngest son, we would all go see the movies. And, they'd ask me, hey, so, why is Hawkeye doing this? Or, what's happening with the Guardians? How does that relate to everything? And, et cetera. And part of that was kind of so that I can bond with the kids, and watch all of these things, and we can all see that. It was always the thing that we would go see the midnight screening. My youngest son, and my oldest son, the first ever movie all three of us went to together was the midnight screening of Avengers, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. He didn't even fall. My little one was about maybe 4 or 5 when that came out. He didn't fall asleep during it, so it was pretty cool. And then we ended up watching, Endgame together. Then, like I said, it's just been me figuring out, like, certain things I liked watching. I liked, Game of Thrones. I liked it when it was the original Dragons and Wieners. And then when the new show of Dragons, Wieners, and Incest came about, I started watching that. And now I'm watching, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms with Dunk and Egg. And I don't know a lot about the stuff and the stories. So I'm also subscribing to several different videos of pop culture things like New Rock Stars and Screen Rant, so I can get those little Easter eggs of certain things. And they also do a lot of stuff with the MCU and the DCU and all the other ones. So a little bit of secondary education while I'm looking at my screen, and that's on in the background. It's passing along, and I've got a little bit of knowledge as far as that. But I will say that sports is still my favorite form of entertainment. Always will be. Live sports to me is always the key entertainment, and it has been entertaining people long before we ever had performances on screen. It has been entertaining the masses since the times of early civilizations. The Olympics, the Romans, the Colosseums, and all that. It was all to see sports competitions. And over the years, there were different types of competitions. Abraham Lincoln was an Indian leg wrestler, for crying out loud. And I guarantee you people paid money to go see him Indian leg wrestle over in Indiana. Baseball, football, and all of that. They were all forms of entertainment. And for me, when it comes down to entertainment, whether it be music, pop, movies, television shows, sports, etc., our own hobbies, I like to know about them. I like to live them live. I like to live them in the action. And as if they don't do any type of harm to anybody else, by all means, enjoy it. But I also want to know why that happens. And in sports, it's a little bit easier to understand why certain things are happening instead of something like a movie where I have to figure out what the whole writer's intention of a Christopher Nolan film is. But I
That's
kind
fair.
of like it of
That's fair.
sports. This guy just struck out, and that's the reason why they lost the game, or this guy got the hit right at this time, and this guy did this over that, and kind of to have all that live action. That's the entertainment that I thoroughly enjoy is that. But
You know,
movies
I
still
gotta
good
say
to get
this.
in your escape.
I gotta say this. You could almost postulate that the original athlete or the athletes of old, right? Like you talked about the Roman Colosseum and things, were kind of like the original superheroes, right? Those were the stories that were sung about. The guys in the stadiums, the guys that were, they were larger than life. They were Achilles, right? Achilles, that they were the first superheroes that existed. Spartacus, exactly. So, yeah, there's definitely some cross there.
And that's where I kind of come from as far as the civilization. And it's only recent that we've kind of come around to thinking of entertainment. We don't hear much about the entertainment of the 17th century outside of plays and Elizabethan plays and Shakespeare and things like that. So this kind of form of entertainment, as far as the long of a lifespan of humanity, has been very short. But it's always been those athletes were the original ones. And in a way, and I'm going to debate this, even though I'm not a fan of it anymore, I can kind of say that professional wrestling, with the way that it is right now, is probably the closest that we could get to the original form of entertainment that societies had used from millennia ago. And that is probably the closest that we will get to what people back in the Roman age and the Greeks, as well as the early, civilizations in the Middle East, were, thinking of as far as entertainment and the gladiators and all that. And that's where I kind of come from with professional wrestling. Professional wrestling for the days of George Hackenschmidt in the early 1900s has been that performance gladiator type of art. So it's still keeping it, even though a lot of people don't like it, and it's only a very small, heavy set, neck bearded group of people that still watch it nowadays. But it does harken back to millennia ago of how entertainment was done for the masses during early civilization.
That's beautiful, man. That's fucking poetry right there. To answer Insomniac in the chats, yes, MadMike is MIA. We can neither confirm nor deny his name showed up in the Epstein files, and that is why he's on the run. We can't say. Who's to say, really? But
I mean, it said Mike. It didn't say Mad, but
exactly.
It was also right underneath Prince Andrew's name, so it wasn't good company to be around.
Yeah, so I've only been on the plane. Okay, I'm just a big fan of planes and air travel. Okay, that's as far as it went. Anyway, there's a couple more things, dude. I don't know if you got the chance to see Wonder Man on Disney Plus. It is fun.
I did not check it. I did not check it out. But I have heard, through the Screen Crush and all the Looper videos, that it was a pretty nice. It was a nice series.
Yeah.
Don't know if there'll be a second season on it, but they applauded the guy who was playing Wonder Man, as well as Ben Kingsley coming back as Trevor Slattery.
Oh man, something about this dude. I don't know if it's him as an actor or him just really enjoying working as this character, but man, he chews through that scenery like it's a buffet. every scene he is in damn near steals the scene. But I will say, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce his name, Yahya Abdul Mateen, crushed it as Simon Williams. He played it so good of being like the goofy kind of like stereotypical I'm too in my head kind of actor where like he's obsessing over every detail, and it really does kind of show you through the show a very how would I put it? It shows you the life cycle of like an actor from starting out to successful, big Hollywood star, and that whole kind of journey in a very, trimmed down, compressed version of it, right? Something in the span of where in a couple months you see the meteoric rise of this guy. It is so unlike any other Marvel product, only because with a few if you took out a few key components, you could almost say it has nothing to do with superheroes. You take out a couple scenes where he's like, and like, it's really a story about these two guys crossing paths and working their way through the industry and trying to figure it out and trying to make it and all the crazy happenstance that happens. And, it is a lot of meta commentary on being a star and superhero tropes and redoing the things from the past and modernizing things and all that stuff. I think it was great. I think it was really, really well done. Me and my wife sat down and watched it, and we just burned through the whole thing because it was fun. It was a fun, silly movie or show.
Let me ask you. I mean, obviously, it'll take a different tone than these shows that I'm about to bring up. But was it anything like? Was it more of the tone of kind of like? Well, I'm not going to say the tone as far as how dark it was and dramatic, but was it like his powers as understated as it was like Luke Cage or like those Netflix movies where the superpowers weren't the the number one topic on everything. It was the story around them, like Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Oh dear God! Thank God she's coming back. I'm going to say that,
baby.
Thank fucking God she's coming back.
She's back. Oh, she looks good. Oh, I watched I was fortunate enough to see the trailer back in New York Comic Con, and then just watched it again as they just released it. She looks so good. Back as Kristen Ritter. Oh,
Kristen Ritter did a phenomenal job in that first season of that. I mean, I know that's almost, it's hard to believe it's almost a decade ago.
Yeah,
but
forever ago.
She did a phenomenal job as Jessica Jones.
So good. And she's a great actress.
Yes. And on top of that too, what's it called? The 11th Doctor, damn it, David Tennant.
He was
as
the Purple Man.
You're good. Okay.
Anyway. Talk about like that first season of Jessica Jones was probably one of the best things I've seen put together. It was well done.
But was it more like as far as understated his powers like it was in the Netflix shows or anything like that?
Honestly, of anything in the modern MCU timeline, it was the least amount of like special effects in the sense of like superpowers of anything, movie or show, because only once or twice do you even see him kind of like and he's kind of, you can almost see like the little wave. It was almost very like comic booky where you kind of see the waves coming off of him. And I don't want to spoil anything, but there's really only one or two scenes in the whole thing where like he's clearly using superpowers, where it's like, okay, that's like it really isn't a superhero story. It's a story about an actor trying to get a role and trying to break it in, and it just so happens he's struggling with like keeping his little powers in check. But it's really, really well done. You forget after a while that it's supposed to be a superhero show, and the idea that Wonder Man, just for those that haven't seen it, he will not start nor end as a superhero named Wonder Man. The Wonder Man is the character of the role in a superhero movie he's trying to get. That's it. Like, yes, he's a guy with actual superpowers trying to get a superpowered role, but even in the fictionalized version, Wonder Man isn't a superhero. He's a like space traveler. So he has like a laser blaster and like a jetpack. So even in the superhero movie where he's playing a superhero, that superhero doesn't have powers, right? But he is a person with powers trying to play a character who's a superhero without power. Talk about meta. It's fucking meta. He's a dude playing another dude trying to play another dude. But yeah, so but no, it's done so wonderfully well. It's zany in all the right ways. Trevor Slattery, like I said, just Ben Kingsley just chews up the scenery, man. He is ridiculous in all the fun ways. I found his character a bit annoying, funny enough, kind of as the Mandarin in the Iron Man 3 movie. And then Shang-Chi, where he came in, he was a little over the top. This one had a really good balance of like, he is that character, but he's also a little bit more fleshed out as a human being. Because he's just so over the top in that role in like Shang-Chi and the others. But in this, he is still zany. He's still weirdly in his own head, but he's mellowed out. And I think they kind of throw in a hint in there where he's like, I've been sober now for a few years, so he's more balanced out. He's still kind of like a weird actor guy, but he's basically saying back then, like, I was strung out. I was really strung out and like barely holding it together. So it was fun. It's a fun show, but Wonder Man is doing well. It's still being raved by critics. It is still, I think, the #1 thing streaming on Disney Plus across multiple regions. So kudos to them. They do good.
Unlike Ironheart and unlike Agatha All Along, I might actually see this.
I will say this. I'm just because you brought it up.
Okay.
Agatha All Along was probably one of my favorite things they've done. As far as like, I had the lowest expectations for it, and they knocked it out of the park. Like, if you want to just watch something that's kind of like weird and quirky and like just hits those notes, you give it a shot, man, because it was nothing what I expected it was going to be, and it was so fucking good. And if you look at it this like a trilogy, and it's going to lead into our next story, WandaVision was the part 1. Agatha All Along is the part 2, and actually VisionQuest is going to be the part 3. It's meant to be looked at as it's like one long through line. Highly recommend. Ironheart I enjoyed, but I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I really enjoyed it. And we did get a Mephisto after fucking 20 years of them fucking, postulating we were going to get Mephisto. But hey, Wayne, it was good hanging out with you. Good night, Coach and CQ and everyone else. Hey, right on, man. Appreciate you. But the Agatha really, really, really caught me by surprise, and which is what I love. I love to be proven wrong, and that one was really good. Ironheart was fine. And then I liked a lot of the actors in Ironheart, actually. The story, meh, but a lot of the actors, like the kid that plays the Hood, and obviously Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto was awesome.
Borat,
That's, you can't go wrong.
Never go wrong with Ollie G.
I mean, he's the devil. I am the devil. Hey, would you woo? Anyway, sorry, so stupid. But VisionQuest is a show I am so fucking hyped on. I got to see an early trailer of it at New York Comic Con. I cannot wait for people to see just the trailer, because it's so, and I don't know if they'll show the same one that they showed us, but it's so mind-bendingly fucking weird in the best way possible. You know, it's the idea of like basically what they showed us was Vision in his own head, kind of almost like compartmentalizing, but bringing to life all of his history and all of the MCU history as far as like AIs and computer programs. So like going all the way back to the beginning, you had Jarvis, you had Friday, you had Monday, you had, which for the silly names. But what was the other one?
Ultron you had as
Ultron.
well.
Yeah, like all these different versions.
And wasn't there like an AI or one of the programs, like what was the one that
Edith was the
Tony
glasses
Stark
from
was
Spider-Man. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, the one that Tony Stark was talking to in the first Iron Man with the robot that kept
dummy.
dummy, yeah
DUM-E, dummy.
yeah yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's crazy, but they're basically so in this fictionalized world that we find White Vision in, he looks like obviously Paul Bettany because that's who's playing him. But you have Ultron there as James Spader because every voice actor gets to be themselves on camera playing their characters. So the voice of Edith is the actress that does the voice. Then they obviously have, Dummy and the other robot never had voices, but they have physical people that are playing them. You get to see James Spader as Ultron. You get the guy that played Jarvis. Obviously, Paul Bettany did the voice for Jarvis, but if you go back to the Peggy Carter show, there was an actor that played Jarvis, the original Jarvis. He's doing
the one who was in Endgame and played
he was Jarvis. He's playing original Jarvis in this series, but it's trippy because he's playing Jarvis, but Jarvis AI Jarvis, not Jarvis person Jarvis. But obviously it's the same actor. So it's crazy because
so the voice of Jarvis, which was Paul Bettany,
playing Vision,
is now going to be played by the guy who played Jarvis.
Correct.
In the Peggy Carter show.
Yes. Talk about fucking meta. But this idea that they're bringing in all the fucking hey, Anubis, thanks seeing you, buddy. He's saying pleasure meeting you, coach. Oh, isn't that nice? Everybody's so polite in my chats. Nobody's giving me shit today. Coach, you gotta come around more often.
That's why I'm usually in the chat. That's my job.
Usually everybody's fucking coming after CQ, just like, rah, you old and fat and whatever and blah. Just
took all the old and fat away from you.
But yeah, so I just think it's such, me, I'm a big techie guy. Like I love my technology and stuff like that. So I'm just super hyped for this show because I think it's going to be like, again, the way that WandaVision and Agatha all along were super trippy because of magic and all this. I feel like this is very like AI mainframe plugged in Matrix style trippy, for this show. And I'm all for it, man. I'm super hyped on it. Super hyped on it.
Part of the appeal that I had with the Iron Man, especially when it was coming down to the suit, was that tech stuff. And then that obviously ever since it went after 3 and all that, it ended up becoming more about super powers and all there. But the tech stuff from 1 and from Iron Man 2, as well as the tech stuff during the from the original
Avengers,
Oh no, the original Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
Things appeal to me a little bit more, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up about the Matrix, because Matrix is one of my favorite movies, mainly because it kind of did feel like I was in a computer simulation. But I kind of, I've always geared myself to I like those tech movies. Like Johnny Mnemonic used to be one of my favorite movies. I love that one. And it's funny if you really want to bring this up, Keanu Reeves had 8 GB or 16 GB of memory stuffed in his head, and like he can only hold 8. If you think about that right now, that barely holds a DVD. So it's kind of sad that like 30 years ago, 16 GB of memory would have fit all inside Keanu Reeves's head. Now we look at it and say, well, if Keanu Reeves' head only fits about 16 GB of memory, well,
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
But yeah, I like that kind of that appeals to me, those tech types of things. And
Yeah.
if that's going to be a little bit more to that, where you've got the tech and the AI working against each other, and maybe have some type of meta commentary about AI, and
Oh yeah.
putting all the information in together to create
Good versus
AI.
evil, but positive use, negative use, like all of it.
And hey, maybe pull off the Alexa thing and have have Ultron really try to kill Thor, using the Amazon Alexa thing. Hey, maybe that was Disney. Maybe that was Disney's only trailer. That was a backdoor trailer
secret trailer for VisionQuest. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Oh
no,
god.
I mean, yeah, I would enjoy that. I kind of like that little tech element out of there.
Yeah.
As long as it's believable, like stuff that's unbelievable, like you're seeing somebody like Swordfish. They're hacking into the IRS database in less than a minute while John Travolta is putting a gun to your head. No, that stuff doesn't get that. But make it techie but believable tech, and
Yes.
you'll get me into that.
Oh yeah, I like it. I'm gonna get you to the dark side. No, dude, that's so funny. There's
What are you talking about? I host every Wednesday with King. I thought I already was.
fair, very fair. Yeah, no, I'm super hyped for it. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff they've announced for Marvel going forward with, again, VisionQuest and some of the other things. Some things that got shelved, like Armor Wars, which I thought was very promising to bring back what's his name, who played Justin Hammer. I thought he was such a great character. I thought, give him yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Fucking why can't I think of his name?
Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, yes, God bless. Sam Rockwell was great. I loved him as Justin Hammer.
I had to think of him from that other movie, the one with Tim Allen, Vision Quest. No, that was Vision Quest.
He's Galaxy
Quest. Galaxy Quest. Yes,
that was a great one. Oh God, that was a good one.
Now you want to talk about meta commentary?
That was
that movie right
spot
there.
On.
Meta commentary.
Spot on. Years ahead of its time. But no, so there's stuff that has been,
and you did happen to overlook a certain one that I think everybody was trying to figure out if that'll ever come out. Blade.
Ooh, yeah, man, that's that one's stuck in limbo, dude. There's so much, like, you got to remember that was first announced back when like The Defenders was still on Netflix. Like they announced Blade, because I remember at the time people were like, "Wait a minute, didn't he just play? He was a character in
Cottonmouth."
Yeah, he was Cottonmouth, exactly. And we're like, how is he gonna play Blade? But they're like, well, it's different character and special effects and makeup and stuff like that. Whatever.
And it also took Marvel almost 6 years for them to even acknowledge the things that happened in Eternals, for crying out loud. And that only happened during that was part of Brave New World. That was the only it took that long for them to bring up, hey, we've got a freaking a big ass robot in the middle of the freaking Pacific Ocean.
He's a space alien. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they completely forgot about Blade. I mean, if they really want to bring back something, it was kind of funny when you saw what's his name, Black Bolt in what's it called?
Multiverse of Madness. Yeah.
What was that? No, that wasn't Eternals. What was that one called?
Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange.
No. The one that Black Bolt was in, the show that was on ABC.
The Inhumans.
Oh dear God, yeah, there's one right there that I wish Marvel ended up getting back.
There's funny enough, there's a few properties that fell within the Marvel universe, but kind of fell by the wayside. Obviously,
Yeah.
Inhumans was not good. That was not good. But even things like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. technically, fell out of the canon. There was Runaways, Cloak and
Oh
Dagger. I
yeah.
really liked Cloak and Dagger. And it was like on Freeform, for God's sakes. Like who does that? Those were initially always pitched as, hey, this is in the Marvel universe. This exists within the same cinematic universe, but they kind of like started to fall further and further away from canon and whatnot. But I don't know, man. There's so much opportunity, for there to be to bring them back. Like, oh God, I would love. I really think that there's a world in which you have these Avengers that are larger than life, that are the world police, that are the guardians and all that. And then you can have the street level guys. You can have Daredevil. You can have, Cloak and Dagger and whatnot. And make it fit into the world without needing, like, oh, you don't need Spider-Man to show up, in Daredevil to make it relevant. Like, you can have a good story that's entertaining and I don't know. I just think there's so much potential. So much.
There is potential to do it, but there's also a time where you got to think about where you get too big, where some things get a little bit too convoluted. And you know what? I bring up Stranger Things. I also bring up Lost as kind of shows. I'm not going to say that they lost their way, but there was just so much that was added into the lore and everything, and to try to tie those up into a nice little bow at the end, which eventually, which for Marvel, tying it up at the end is usually these Avenger movies. It gets difficult when you've got all of these strangling, I'll say it, there's a lot of threads that need to be tied up just off of well, I'll call it the end of phase 3. When once Endgame happened, that stuff before Endgame, I don't think Marvel will even look back at it again. After the Doomsday and everything else like that,
Yeah.
it's fallen off, and I wish that it became too much. I think
Yeah.
for all of them to be interconnected
The
together.
snake basically started eating its own tail, right? Like it's
Kind,
just
yeah, yeah.
it's so massive that and honestly, and I don't care what anyone says, I really look at them doing Doomsday as this kind of big send off, and then Secret Wars is going to be a hard reset for the Marvel universe. I think it's
Yeah.
they're out in saying, hey, we can, sunset all these characters, reset because you don't want to be in a position where like DC is, where you're like, oh, we have to restart, right? You want to be able to keep the legacy going, but then how do you bring in new people to do old characters? Secret Wars, where the whole world is like what we saw in Infinity War was nothing, with half the world being, or half the universe being destroyed. In Secret Wars, or at the end of Doomsday, I really truly believe the entirety of the Marvel universe will be wiped clean. Like that's how it's going to end. Everything is gone. Everything. And then you'll have like, like at the end of it, I would love like in the end, all there is Doom. And it's just Doom by himself because, and there's a whole like backstory in the comics about how he, through all these incursions and the world destroyed, how he uses, I think it's like Molecule Man to basically, anyway, to rewrite the entire universe. And he basically cherry picks his favorite parts, or really what it's the best selling parts of the different Marvel universes, and puts them all into one world, into Battle World. And I think that's where they're going. I think they're going to cherry pick, obviously, the young, cheap talent, some new, fresh faces, maybe a couple of the vets, your Florence Pughs and whatnot, who are considered now mainstays. And they're going to build out a brand new Marvel universe where mutants will exist, where the Fantastic Four will exist, where all these people will exist. And that will be the Marvel universe moving forward.
Yeah, and to play a little bit as far as this was, I did see this on one of the videos and kind of
Hmm.
linking a lot of this. You've noticed that there's been a lot of kids in the trailers,
Mm.
and when you look at the kids as far as Cap's kid, and then you've got Thor with his kid, and we
Hmm.
all know that Scott Summers has a child. His
Hmm.
name is Cable, and we're starting to come around with other kids, like well, if we wanted to go, dang on, Franklin Richards. Okay,
Franklin, yep.
he's being seen, and if we and here we go with that whole part of Secret Wars. Franklin Richards plays a very big in everything that's happening with Secret Wars. So kind of the kids and all that, it wouldn't surprise me if the kids play a bigger role, probably a little bit older than what the actors are right now instead of being babies. I would
Hmm.
also see, the possibility, and I think they were doing this. Okay, to me, they were doing this at the end of a lot of the shows that were put on, but you got Mrs. Jared Allen. You got oh god, I want to say America, but that's not her name.
No, yeah, America
America
Chavez.
Chavez.
America
America
Chavez. Yep.
Chavez.
Miss
You've
Marvel.
got Ms. Marvel. You've got Lang. I can't remember her. Cassie Lang.
Yep.
The talk of the Young Avengers or the West Coast Avengers.
Yes.
Those types of entities, I can see them kind of going on as far as that. But then from my understanding is that the next set of Marvel movies is going to be called the Mutant Saga.
Mhm.
So as long as that happens, you're gonna have your new I'm not gonna not the new mutants like
Yeah, not
they
the
have.
lineup, the New Mutants, just New
Yeah,
Mutants.
but like you're gonna have some new players that'll be pulled in, and then you're still gonna end up having freaking Wolverine still gonna be played by Hugh Jackman. He's gonna be playing until he's 90.
Yeah, till he looks like
But
Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Or some, and yeah, I can see that happening with that, and that's where kind of going from there. You can see how that it would be nice to see, if they put McAvoy back as back as Professor X, and he plays the older Professor X just as the or Charles Xavier, just the way like not Ian McCallum. Damn it, what am I saying?
Yeah.
Oh
Michael
God, Patrick
Fassbender.
Stewart.
Oh,
Yeah,
Patrick Stewart. Gotcha.
yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah, and maybe Fassbender comes back and he plays Magneto instead of Sir Ian McKellen.
Mhm.
Those types of things. It goes to that type of continuity where you have, different versions of, the X-Men or something like that. It would just be, with certain people that we are recognize, and
Yeah.
especially I'm just saying, you've already got Hugh Jackman. Just fucking keep him as Wolverine. Let him do it until he's
Which
90.
he said, he's like, yeah, I'll do it forever. Which is an interesting thing. All right. Go with me here.
Okay.
Because for so long, he said specifically, he's like, hey, I'm done. I'm not coming back. And then he comes back for Deadpool. And he goes, yep, but that's it. I'm done. And then it comes out, well, he's going to be in Doomsday. And all of a sudden, right? Because this is all about being tight-lipped, secret, can't say nothing. All of a sudden, he's now saying in every interview, I'm playing Wolverine till I'm 90. I don't care. I'm going to do it. If you follow the trend, it's always like the opposite of what people are saying, right? I'm not in the movie. They're in the movie. Or, yeah, I could be in the movie. They're not in the movie. With him suddenly going, I'm going to play Wolverine forever, I think he's going to die for real in this one. I think he's done after this one, like permanently. And like that is going to be one of the gut punches of the film, is because of him saying now, oh, I'm going to be in it forever, that he actually is not. The other thing is, I think you were totally right in a lot of what you were saying. I think the whole Doomsday movie is going to be all these teams You're gonna have the official Avengers, new Avengers, which were the Avengers from Thunderbolts. I think you're gonna have young Avengers. I think you might even end up with a West Coast Avengers, depending on how one VisionQuest ends up. You might have a West Coast Avengers, and you're gonna have all these teams trying to stop Doomsday. But like most, Marvel comic books, when teams come across each other, they just get in each other's way. And I think that's why they end up losing at the end of Doomsday, only for everything to be rewritten and redesigned in Secret Wars. And now they have to find themselves, like break the mind washing, the brainwashing to win the day in Secret Wars. I'm so hyped for this. I really am. I think it's one of those things that could go really, really, really right, or really, really, really wrong. And Insomniac, tune in tomorrow for the Sports Bar to hear Coach's take on the Super Bowl, its halftime show, and a lot of that buzz. I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot to say about all that. That is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, the Sports Bar.
We definitely will. We'll definitely
throw you a cheap plug right there.
Pissed because Sam Darnold should have been a Jet, but that's all I'm going to say.
The Jets should have been in the Super Bowl.
That's the closest the Jets are going to get to the Super Bowl is Sam Darnold freaking doing it. But we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, we'll also talk about Bad Bunny and all of that good stuff tomorrow.
Yeah. I miss the old joke of when they do the flyover and go, that's the closest the Jets are ever going to get to the Super Bowl. And now Sam Darnold ruined that joke.
Yeah. And CQ, let me ask you this, and I know that we're kind of wrapping up here, but just opinion-wise, let me ask you something. That we're saying that, this Doomsday and Secret Wars is going to be a reset and Marvel's going to move forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that DC could have pulled off, and I'm just saying this, do you think that they could have pulled off the what's that storyline?
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Crisis on Infinite Earths. Do you think that DC could have pulled that off instead of the reboot that they did?
Oh man, that's such a good question. To answer it properly, I will say this. Anybody that's watched DC cartoons or DC cartoon animated movies, I should say, knows that there was a long history going all the way back to like Batman the Animated Series, where they would come out with a new show, but it was kind of a continuation of the old one. So like where it was like Batman the Animated Series, then it was Batman and Robin, but it was a continuation of that, even though it was new. And sometimes the animation style would change a little bit and new characters would be introduced, or they had like Superman and then like the new adventures of Superman. And then it jumped into like Justice League and all that, but it was always a continuation of the story. They always found a way to kind of phase in this new thing while still paying homage and respecting the old thing. There were a lot of people behind the scenes that thought, well, once the writing was on the wall, that Justice League and the whole Snyderverse was kind of done and out, that Flash, that terrible movie Flash, would have been the perfect opportunity for them to do a Flashpoint paradox, which they kind of did. They kind of did, but do it to the effect that the consequences coming out of that was the reboot to the new universe. And that would have been a really nice way to transition over. My thought, and this is again purely speculative, if you're James Gunn and you're wanting to come in and you're wanting to do things your way and you're wanting to really do it right, you don't want any ties to the old, because you never want to, if it's me, I never want to be like, well, our success is built off the Snyderverse, right? You're like, no, I fucking built this from the ground up. All like, I don't, they weren't my lead in. We're starting from zero and building up. So from a fan perspective, I'm like, oh yeah, you had all the opportunity to do this kind of like Infinite Crisis on
Crisis
Crisis
on
on Infinite Earths, or Flashpoint Paradox, or something like that, which they had done in the animation world. There was a really good run of like it was like Justice League Unlimited or whatever, where they wanted to then, end that and start in a whole new direction. And so what they did was they ended it with Flashpoint Paradox. That was the final show, and literally like it was so touching, man. If you go find that animated show, they're sitting on the beach and they go, okay, well, we did it, we saved the day, but this is it, this is the end. Like they knew it was coming, and they all just sit on like the beach and watch like the wave come at them of like the erasing of reality. But they're like, but this will set everything right, this will make things better. And like literally it, the next thing is the whole new series. There was definitely a way they could have done it, but I definitely think that if I'm James Gunn and I'm trying to start this thing, then I don't want it to be built off the back of what was before. I want to start from scratch. But just my own thoughts of where, as a fan, it would have been kind of cool and like, yeah, it's a layup, right? It's a reset, so might as well make it part of it. But from a and then who knows, maybe there's some type of like back end money thing of where you go, well technically this, because it's built off our universe, we still get residuals or whatever the fuck, like who knows on the back deal kind of stuff, how that works. Whereas if they go, hey, no, this is a complete reboot, this has nothing to do with you guys are out, we don't owe you shit. So who knows. But yeah, they said, I think they missed an opportunity with Loki. Oh, we can touch a whole thing on that separately. Let me close out with a couple quick notes before we go. I did see some streaming highlights for February. Several notable titles are arriving on streaming platforms this month, with Ex Machina returning to Netflix. We were talking about sci-fi thriller, artificial intelligence, human manipulation. Ex Machina is one of the fucking greatest mind fucks of a movie. Really love that one.
That was
so good. And Oscar Isaac, my God, fucking amazing. Zero Dark 30 also returns. So that's your grounded, intense, the look for Osama bin Laden. The Night at the Museum trilogy is back as well. You've got sci-fi, you've got military drama, you've got, all these things. So a couple things to watch in February if you're looking for streaming options now that there's no more football. What's the countdown? We have like whatever, 42 months until football, something like that, or 42 weeks, or
dear gosh. Well, I mean, pitchers and catchers report next week. Oh God, we are not going to see football until, well, the middle of August. Oh God. There's
so
6
sad.
more months without football.
So sad. All right. Well, let's take a quick look around the horn here at WTF Nation Radio. We've got so many great things coming. And here, you know what? Let me hide my camera for this one, because this is a new graphic we've been kicking around the horn. Something we've been working in the backgrounds, because we're so excited that there's more coming. So now you have things like The Reset, The King and Me, Monday Edition, Pop Culture Warrior, The Smoke Pit, which is on a temporary hiatus, but it'll be back. WTF Nation Radio's The Sports Bar, Sergeant's Time, FTX, and Weekend Co-ops. And that's just what we have now. But as the graphic says, there is more coming soon. Oh my God, I can't wait. Can't wait for you guys to see what we're planning, what stuff we're bringing. It is honestly, truly, what a time to be alive. I'm so freaking stoked for what is coming. And yeah, man, it's woof.
And congrats to Dr. J. Over 10,000 views on the first episode of the reset on
Oh,
a
awesome.
Sunday at noon. We got some great views for Dr. J, and I hope you all do tune into her show. Learn something about some mental health. Help yourself out. A study came out earlier today that even though the number of veteran suicides, total number has dropped year over year, the percentage of veteran suicides and the ratio of how many per day has actually gone up from 2024 to 2025.
Wow.
We are now at 17 and a half veterans that commit suicide every day. So please take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. Check out the reset, and please, you may learn something, a very good coping mechanism, maybe a way to know that you are not alone, so that you do not become one of the 17 and a half or 18 or however we want to call it.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
it's so true, man. This episode she had their last episode. She talked about like box breathing and some imagery stuff and oh man, it was so good, so good. I'm a huge proponent of mental health. I'm so glad that we got her on the team. I think it's going to be great discussions. I think in the future there'll be some interviews and some really cool, maybe she could even go into like, reviews of like the stim machines or the light therapy or
the alpha stems. Yes.
Oh yeah, man, all that stuff. There's so many cool things and breaking technologies and methodologies and therapies and all these things. And I think something especially today with how divisive the world is, with how divisive politics and the news and the anger and the hate and all that stuff. Mental health is so important. It's so very important. Man, woman, child, doesn't matter. Super important. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. But with that, we have reached the end of another incredible episode of Pop Culture Warrior. I want to say this is in 230 episodes. This was the least I've talked in an episode. So
we went the whole 2 hours. I don't know what it's like to do that on the sports bar.
I want to thank my absolutely amazing co-host of the evening. I think you will all agree he is welcome back anytime to be a co-host here on Pop Culture Warrior. Coach, give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Coach.
Thank you for having me on tonight, King. Thank you for having me on tonight, CQ. I appreciate it.
That's
really
fair.
do.
That's fair.
Awesome.
We get that a lot.
And please tune in tomorrow to the sports bar to see King and I talk about the world of sports. Yeah.
Yes. And we'll shed a tear for the end of football season. We'll all shed a tear. I'm a football guy. I'm not much of a sports guy, but I am a football guy.
That means the King is going to start talking about the WNBA. So please pray over me.
Pray for me. Thoughts and prayers, Coach. Thoughts and prayers. We support you, buddy. But yes, go check out the sports bar. I mean, obviously, go check out all of our shows. But the sports bar is a lot of fun. You guys do such a great job. You're always keeping it entertaining. You're doing the trivia thing, which can I just pitch? Not the first Wednesday of the month. That's the only, that's the one Wednesday I can't participate. That's the one Wednesday.
I understand, but I can also understand the reasoning for that on that Wednesday, because I can also run that by myself, as King has other obligations that you guys have on that first Wednesday. So there's some for it, and I would say
it's your show.
Maybe not next month, maybe not in March, but probably in April we'll do that again.
Yeah, man.
So
I think once a quarter.
Let's try it every other month and then see how that works.
There you go. I'm a fan of once a quarter, but it's your show. You guys do what you got to do. Go check out their show. Check out the reset on Sunday. If you didn't catch it live, go back. It's obviously archived on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that. Highly recommend the YouTube version. It plays better. I don't know why. But it was a really good, frank discussion. And she's got a lot of good stuff coming. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We have so much coming up this year. I mean, I can't speak for the station as a whole, but Pop Culture Warrior is going big 2026. Some of our biggest guests, some of our biggest news stories, the biggest conventions we've ever gone to. I mean, my God, it is. Whoo! The stuff I can't talk about yet. Oh my God. Let's just say, buckle up, stay tuned, spread the word. Oh man, oh God. What about you? What are you most excited for, pop culture or otherwise? But what are you most excited for 2026? But
2026 thing I'm most excited for. Oh, actually, it's the World Cup. The World Cup is what I am most excited for. Yes, the World Cup will be coming this summer.
Outstanding. Where are they doing it this year?
Dude, it's in the U.S.
It's in. Oh God.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Oh God. Oh,
yeah.
it's gonna
Okay.
be so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah. It's in the U.S. Here we go, man. 2.1 billion people around the world watching.
God.
And us in America, we don't even realize it's happening.
Of all the years to do it in the U.S. Oh,
I know.
ICE is gonna be busy. That's all I'm saying.
And we're not talking about the one who shows up on the Monday edition or something.
I mean, that's what I was talking about. It's ICE on Monday edition. So that's who were you talking about? He's going to cover it, for the Monday edition. All right, guys. Thank you again to my guest, Coach, co-host for the night. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate you. Tune into all the other shows and stay tuned because WTF Nation Radio has got a lot more in store. Coach, final thoughts, final words. Send us off.
Again, thank you very much for having me on tonight. Appreciate the opportunity to fill in. Whatever it is you guys love and enjoy, just do it right and make sure it's not doing anything to harm anyone else. And as long as you're doing that, enjoy yourselves.
Outstanding. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Tune in Fridays, FTX. We're going to be playing games. Castle Panic, I think, is what we're playing. All right. We'll see you guys. Take care.
Let's see it.